We get going. I'm going to introduce to you our MC for the night. His name is Dan Schmidt. I want to apologize right now for anything he does say or do.
Physically, if I were to describe Dan, I would describe him as a guy that wears ridiculous Fender t-shirts, K-Swiss, and twerky glasses.
Dan is a very outspoken and very passionate guy.
And I said, well, why is that? He goes, well, Sergeant, because I've already found 4 different parts of the tank that I can fuck. What?
I've got a couple different aspects of myself. Like, there's the former military side of me, there's the comedy side of me, there's the side of me that my girlfriend gets to see, and there's the college me.
Kind of a typical boy. Like to shoot his BB gun, like to ride his motorcycle. What else, son?
Danny pretty well had whatever he wanted. I think he can clear his mind of whatever he needs to clear his mind of at the time, to do whatever he needs to do, and then after he's done what he needs to do, he can go back into his second mind.
And again, here's Dan Schmidt, everybody. Give it up for Tony, everybody. Yeah. Doesn't he remind you of, like, the geek from every 80s movie ever?
What is Dan Schmidt like as a comedian?
Oh boy. I think a little bit dark. I don't think I get too dark. I talk about sex and relationships a lot. But that's because that's really where I started indie comedy, was based on that. And I think I'm pretty clever with coming up with different reasons and different things about relationships and finding the little quirks about it and talking about how weird I am.
Hey, I had sex with a black girl one time, and yeah. Guys, I gotta tell you, that is a completely different experience than having sex with a white girl. Like, when you have sex with a white girl, they're typically, like, really quiet about it, like their dad's in the next room, that's how they act. They're all hush-hush. Typically. Okay, just because you're a freak, I'm not... Ma'am, I've never had sex with you, so you might be loud as hell. I don't know.
When did you have alcohol for the first time?
Oh God, probably 3 or 4 years old. My dad is an alcoholic, and my family, we're very, very German family. So my family doesn't see a problem with giving alcohol to, maybe now they do, but at the time it was not unusual for kids to have wine at Thanksgiving or Christmas, and hey, can I have a beer, Dad, at the age of 5 or 6, and it was not an issue. So that would be when I first had alcohol. But I started, like, drinking at probably about the age of 15.
Man, what's the biggest bar tab you've ever run up? 200? You ever been so drunk that the next day you could swear that a cat had shit in your mouth? That's how drunk, how hungover you are. Have you been that drunk? That happened to me one night. But that was after a night where I ran up a $3,200 bar tab. Yeah.
Your first drug was marijuana?
Yes.
When did you first use marijuana?
I was probably 15 years old. Maybe. I would have been 15 or 16, probably 15.
How quickly did you, like, go then and start experimenting with other things?
Oh, it took a while. Yeah, it was, I didn't try, no, I had tried shrooms shortly thereafter. Probably tried shrooms within the next 2 or 3 months, something like that. Didn't try LSD until probably 17 or 18. I only did LSD twice. I do not recommend LSD whatsoever. I don't enjoy that at all. And then cocaine was just, like I said, once I turned 18 or 19. That was when I got up into this area.
The sign that I had for my worst job ever was the interview process. During the middle of the interview, the boss looked across the table at me and he said, Mr. Schmidt, I want you to know, we don't have a drug testing policy. If there was ever a sign that it's a bad job, that's it. Like, go ahead and get as high as you want so you don't care quite as much. That's basically what I think he was telling me. And I did, I assure you. The weird thing, though, is that you really assume that there'd be higher standards to be a school bus driver, right? No, not in East Belleville.
I decided to join the Army because I just had a serious general lack of discipline. I knew that my life was going nowhere. I knew that if I continued hanging out with the people that I was hanging out with, that I was not going to ever have a successful life whatsoever.
At the time, there was no wars going on, and I thought it would be good for him. Well, the way it turned out, he joined in 1999. So things were pretty quiet right then, as much as I remember. So, he grew up. He grew up in the Army.
I was all for it because I myself went into service when I was 18, right after high school. Vietnam was going on. And I thought it would help him.
My first duty assignment was in South Korea. When you've got a job the type of job I had, everybody gets a lot of medical training. To include IVs, saline locks, etc. Me and a few of my friends, and you're of course getting up to go running at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning to do PT. I started putting a saline lock in my arm before I would go out on a Tuesday night and leave it in while I was out at night so that whenever I came back drunk at 1 o'clock in the morning, I could just put an IV in my arm, attach it to the saline lock that was already there, hang the IV on the wall, so that while I slept for 2 or 3 hours, it was dripping so that I wouldn't be dehydrated when I went running at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's a little bit beyond the normal level of alcohol consumption.
Absolutely.
And I stopped drinking just because I matured.
He was in New York when the attacks happened, and he was at Ground Zero the next day.
He called us, I believe, on September 11th, saying he was he was out in Wyoming, Colorado, somewhere out there, and he was on his way back to New York. So we were glad to hear from him to know exactly where he was when it happened. But of course worried about him being there that short afterwards.
Possibly a 737. He was almost absolutely sure that it was a large passenger jet that went into that plane. Gene, you're saying that you didn't see anything initially. You didn't see a plane.
I actually, you know, having known Dan going on 3 years, I didn't know that until he moved in here with me. You know, to be close friends with the guy and roommates with the guy and everything that was there, that saw that stuff firsthand. I mean, it's, you know, something I'm always going to have the utmost respect for Dan for, because I think it's a life-changing experience. I think I'm positive that he saw things that will probably forever be etched into his mind, and, you know, that can be a very traumatic, you know, and have a really long-term effect in a negative way on you mentally. And to see how mentally healthy, you know, I think that's just a testament to who Dan is.
Ever kill somebody in combat or no?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Impossible to describe. Because it's just a huge combination of emotions. On the one hand, there's the satisfaction and the pride knowing that you killed somebody, but you only did it because they were going to kill you or one of your friends that you love dearly. But there's also the terror of the fact that you just took another human being's life. Gets easier. Yeah.
How often did that happen?
A bunch.
Have you guys seen them use the term FML? Yeah. For you that don't know, it stands for fuck my life. Like a bit over dramatic, don't you think? And it's always for something really, really stupid, like the McDonald's lady forgot to put the straw in the bag again, FML. Can you manage? Seriously? I'd probably change my opinion on that term if just one time I saw somebody use it about something really serious. Like just got chased down by a goddamn lion, FML. That's fair. I can understand that.
And you are a man of faith?
Yes, yes. I have an interesting take on religion. Religion is all about your own personal relationship with God. Really, really strong, devout Christian said something about God. And I said, well, God speaks to me through dick jokes. And he laughed and he thought I was joking. And I said, no, I tell jokes.
I think in a way that's kind of his therapy, because he uses that material, he uses the tragedy and puts it into his comedy. He makes light of a situation.
Comedy is the dark parts of life.
I host a web radio show at SIUE.
Hey, it's Thursday. It's 4 o'clock. You know that means it is What Ucking Censor time. It's a great show today.
I wanted to just do something that would be fun for the students. I'm a big fan of the freedom of speech. I don't like censorship at all, in any way, shape, or form. So I started the show to just be able to talk about whatever I wanted to. And I have comics on the show, I have strippers on the show. I try to use it to broaden people's perspectives and understanding of other people, and it's just a lot of fun.
If you could draw up the perfect future that you want for Dan, what would you draw up?
I hope for nothing but the best for Dan.
That he finds something that makes him happy.
Well, I know what he wants. I think I know what he wants.
The perfect future for me would be to have a wife that I love, children that I'm there for and can spend time with, making enough money to provide for them and be happy doing whatever it is that provides me with the money that I take care of my family with.
So, you know, the future looks very bright for a guy like Dan.
Thank you.